notes below or above the 5 lines, which is also known to be the stave. You can work them out by continuing one pattern after the other. So let's have a look at the example. The first pattern that we learned for the lines are every good boy deserves Ferrari. And the second pattern for the spaces that continues on is F, A, C, E, and then we continue on with every good boy deserves Ferrari. Now, how can we actually find out what the letter is? So in the treble clef, what we need to first understand is a note on a line or a space. So let's have a look at this letter, for example. We can see that it is on a line because there's a line going through the note. So the pattern that we use for this one would be every good boy deserves fruit. And then we continue on with F-A. So the spaces pattern starts with F-A-C-E, but we stop on A because that's the second letter of that pattern there. So then we can know that that letter would be A. Now how do we work out the letters that are below the 5 lines? Now, for example, if we want to know what this letter is that has a line going through it, we again have to start from the letter pattern that starts on the line, which is E, the first line, every. Then we need to make sure we go backwards. So, E, C, A, F. So this letter would be F because we went backwards in the pattern from the lines pattern, which is every good boy deserves fruit. So can we understand that if there are lines above the 5 lines of the stave, we need to progress and move forward, continuing on with the second pattern, and if it is below the stave, we need to move backwards in that pattern. Now, working out the letters on the pattern for the spaces. So let's have a look at this letter over here. We can see that this letter has no line going through the note. It may have the lines below, which is also known to be ledger lines, but it does not have a line going through it. So first, we know that it is a letter that will go with the pattern of the spaces. The first space that we know is the spaces of the faces. So let's continue on ascending the pattern. F, A, C, E, then continuing on with every good boy deserves fruit. So we can see that that letter would be a D. Now again, working out the letters that are below the stave, the 5 lines, let's say for example we want to know what this letter is. We can see that there are 2 ledger lines, but it does not have a line going through it. So again, we work backwards in our pattern for the spaces. That's our first starting point with the space of F, and we move backwards. Ferrari, deserves, boy, and then that letter would be good. Now let's have a look at the further questions below and try to work out what the letters are on the treble clef. So we're going to be working on the first bar together, and I would like for you to continue on with the letters in the next few bars ahead. Now let's have a look at the first letter. We can see that clearly that the note is on a space. There's no line going through it. So we must follow the pattern of the spaces. F, A, C, that letter would be E. The next letter ahead over here would be on a line because a line is going through it. So we follow the pattern of every good. So the second letter would be G. The third letter over here, as you can see, there's no line going through it, so we must follow the pattern of the spaces. And we go F, A, C, E, then we continue on with the pattern, every good. So the letter that we have worked out for these three would be E, G, G, egg. Now I will help you with the second bar, just because there are letters that are below the stave. I will let you work out these two letters, but I will help you with this third letter that is below the stave. We first need to understand whether it's a space or a line. Now there's no line going through it, so it seems like it is a space. The first pattern for the spaces are the space of the faces, which is F, which is on the first space here. So if we go backwards from the pattern of F, we can see that it will continue on with Ferrari and deserves. So that letter would be a D. D for deserves. I would like for you now to continue on with this activity and work out what these words create.